listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast, coming to you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Your source for UFC news, previews, and post-fight coverage. Hosted by your favorite duo, Daryl and Asher. Let's get it started.
Hello guys, welcome back to the MMA Brothers Podcast. It's Daryl.
It's Asher.
And we're talking UFC post-fight 254. So we're just going to give you a breakdown of the main card, fight by fight, what we thought happened. We're just going to break it down that way. If you guys are looking forward to having Dylan back on, he's coming on for another one. He's got tied up with work, but we can start off with the first fight of the night, which is Phillip Haas was the first fight?
No, we had Cutel.
Oh yeah, Magomed versus Ion. This one was crazy, guys. So following in his usual tradition, Ion Cutel was just moving forward, eating strikes and trying to land some of his own. He usually has that I'm going to eat one, return two strike policy. You know what I'm saying? But with a guy like Magomed Ankalaev at that weight class, you can't, eventually those shots are going to take its toll. It was a stand-up fight, as we all assumed it would be. No faking head movement like he's rocked this time. He actually got put away and he was viciously KO'd. Cutel was going in for, because I think that Magomed had the reach advantage. So Cutel was moving in to land one of his strikes, and then he bobbed when he was supposed to weave into a right hand, boom, and then goes onto a left hand, and then a left hook drops Cutel. He doesn't know where he is. He tries to, protect himself, throws up his hands, ground and pound, and he was out. Like, he was like out. You know what I'm saying? When the ground and pound is vicious, it's like John Jones elbowing you type of. It wasn't elbows. It was straight right and left from the top. But good stoppage by the doctor. There's no question about this fight and who's better now, as they ran it back and he got. He should have just left it be. If it was to ask me, with that vicious of a KO happening, Magomed Ankalaev is one for the future in the light heavyweight division, guys. Mark my words. Ridiculously good takedown defense. His hands are so crisp. His kicks are nice. I don't really see a hole in his game. He hasn't faced the best of the best in terms of competition, but very, very exciting prospect for the future. What did you think?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything that you said. Cutel, I think he got first. He got caught first when he tried to throw like a spinning back fist or something. That's what dropped him the first time, but he got up. And Cutel has a really good chin. Like, he got dropped twice with like some very, very nice strikes. And like you said, that right and left dropped him the second time. And he wasn't out until the ground and pound. And a lot of people I was reading online, they were laughing, saying that like, yeah, it was a late stoppage because like the referee just wanted to make sure he wasn't faking it on the ground. So I laughed when I saw that. I'm like, man, some people are just like ruthless online. But yeah, that's what they were saying about Cutel. But yeah, finally the fight happened 7 months later, and 3 tries or whatever, they tried to put it back together. So COVID didn't stop it this time. And good for Ankalaev. I think he's a hot prospect, and I can't wait to see what comes from him next. So next we're going to talk about Lauren Murphy versus Lilia Shaykirova. Lilia Shaykirova. Yep. So go ahead.
Shaykirova. Anyways, so Lauren Murphy, guys, I told you that knockout percentage is not a game, and there's nothing against women, but when I see a high TKO percentage in a male fighter, it predicts violence, and the other person's got to be afraid of that power. In the women's division, it translates even more, in my opinion. If you have a high finish rate in terms of TKO, it just strikes fear into your opponents in terms of they know they're in the danger zone when they're striking with you, right? And you could tell the power difference between the two of them. When Lauren Murphy was landing versus Lilia, you could tell there's a clear difference in power. Lauren looked just more muscular, more physical, more physically imposing in the clinch work. She was just dominating. She was walking her down, throwing strikes. I knew it was only a matter of time until she got the submission win. And, kudos to Lilia for taking it on short notice. Kudos to Lauren for also accepting it on short notice. She's one of the people in the future for that division to look out for because she moves forward. She's an exciting fighter, and she gets it done. She gets finishes, TKOs, and submission wins. Very, very impressed by this performance. Would love to see a little bit more technique out of her with head movement because she got hit quite a bit, but she was able to just walk through the strikes of Lilia and land her own. I don't think you can do that against the top echelon of the division because you will get KO'd if you just keep on trying to motor through the strikes. But very, very impressive performance. Not much negatives to say other than head movement, I would say, but good on her. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, Lauren, her stand up was great. I wonder how Cynthia Calvillo would have done if she made, if she fought her. But yeah, Lauren Murphy was great. And like, I don't think many people picked her to win by submission. Even the commentators were like not laughing, but they're shocked that she won by submission, because a lot of people were saying her KO percentage is high, so they thought she was going to win that way. But yeah, solid performance. The poor Lilia, that she was pretty much a sheep. They threw her in there against Lauren Murphy, and Lauren Murphy just did what she had to do. But yeah, Lauren's a little bit stationary. She can work on her defense a little better, and I guess we'll see what happens. I'm sure they're gonna put Cynthia Calvillo with her next, if Lauren is willing to take the fight soon. So next, we're gonna talk about Jacob Malkoun versus Phillip Haas, and
guys,
your boy Phillip Haas.
We told
like Dylan
you.
was saying, Phillip Haas, he just knocks dudes out. Like if you've seen his highlights in the Contender Series, and Jacob Malkoun was undefeated, I think, at 4-0 coming into the UFC. I think this was his debut. And he fought Megatron, and Megatron, as soon as the bell rang, he just put the pressure on him. Threw 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, crack a couple hooks, and then it was out. That was all she wrote, and then he was out. Everyone was like, "Yo, Phillip."
It was like Ngannou versus Rosenstrike. How he just walked him down, didn't care about his power, and just KO'd him against the fence. It was He's one to look out for in the middleweight division. Anyone who can go in and do that and get it done is ridiculous. Who I'd love to see him fight? Joaquin Buckley. They're both built the same. They're both headstrong dudes. They're both very exciting fighters to watch. Joaquin is fighting, I think, in November or December.
Yeah, he has a fight booked.
Yeah, and I hope he comes out and wins in stylistic fashion again, and we can see a superstar being born. But Phillip Haas, guys, watch his fights. His legs are like tree trunks. If you were to build a power fighter in a lab at this division, it would be Phillip Haas, right? Yes, there's Yoel. Yes, there's Paulo Costa. Then there's Phillip Haas in terms of just physiques where you're like, dude, I don't know how this guy makes 185. Kudos to him. His hands have dynamite. Him versus Paulo Costa is a very interesting matchup because the way they both just move forward and don't care in Murad is going to be one very interesting. It'll be the battle of testosterone. Whoever's taking more testosterone. Well, what's the acronym, Asher? What's the abbreviation? No, for testosterone. TRT.
Testosterone replacement therapy.
Whoever's on more TRT, because both of these guys would just be yoked. One for the future, hand heavy guy, ridiculously strong. Walks people down. If you guys are interested in one of the interesting come-up stories, let's keep an eye up on Phillip Haas. He's one for the future, and he's a very interesting fighter to watch.
100%. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one, we have Alexander Volkov versus Walt Harris. So obviously a lot of people were rooting for Walt Harris to win because everybody knows the story. We don't have to get into that. But, Volkov, Drago, he's a beast. And the big ticket obviously had some issues with his reach and his height. Walt Harris did look really, really good, though. He landed some solid punches on Volkov. His stand-up was good. Like, Walt Harris was moving quite well. He did lose some weight, so he took this training camp extremely seriously. And obviously, Walt Harris has ambitions to become a UFC champion in the future, but Alexander Volkov, man, he's just one of those guys that he's just so hard to beat. Like, unless you're gonna like wrestle him, like when it comes to stand up, it's pretty much like a done deal that Volkov's gonna win. So that was a solid win by Volkov. I don't think he called anyone out after the fight. I think he was just saying that he's ready for pretty much anyone in the top 6. So yeah, good job with the body. I think it was a body kick that hurt Walt Harris. Hit him right in the solar plexus, kind of like how in the previous fight weekend when
it's in the ribs.
Jessica, solar plexus are kind of like the rib area. So Yeah, he hit him on the right spot. He maybe was taking a breath in or a breath out when he got kicked, and that obviously hurt him. And reminds me of Jessica Andrade versus the blonde
Caitlin
fighter.
Chukagian.
Yeah, so pretty much same thing where it's like it wasn't like the hardest strike because everybody, a lot of UFC fighters throw that teep kick to the body, but obviously it hit Walt Harris right in the money and it took him out. So congrats to Volkov. That back tattoo you have is sick. Like I was like, what the hell kind of tattoo is that? Man just came back tatted as hell. But anyways, Volkov is a scary dude. I can't wait to see what the UFC offers him next. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Volkov, this is the thing. If you're going to get into a stand-up bout, there's very few heavyweights that can stand and bang with Volkov. Do I think Volkov would beat Ngannou? No, just because Ngannou's power, Ngannou doesn't really respect your striking because he knows he can take yours, you can't take his. He's moving forward, and Volkov is going to have to, do something different, right? Curtis Blades knew, hey, man, I can't stand and bang with this dude. This guy's pieced me up from the outside. I'm taking him down and I'm wrestling him. Everyone knows that that's how you beat him. Like, you just take him down and you wrestle him. You're not going to beat him in a point fighting stand-up bout. He's ridiculously long for the division. He's tall. He's 6'7", long wingspan, ridiculously good kickboxer. His wrestling defense is good in the first 2 rounds. A round and a half, and then it's garbage. You know what I'm saying? The moment he gets a little bit gassy, he just allows the takedown. But then again, I'm speaking like it's easier to stop a 265-pound man jumping in on your legs, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Walt just got to go back to the well, man. Keep grinding at it. Just
there's no
but like there was no. He needs to face like a wrestler or something, like he needs to.
There's no shame in losing to Volkov. Like Volkov is like top 3 heavyweights in my opinion, right? Like he's up there with Stipe, Ngannou, Blades, and Volkov, probably your top 4, I should say. So yeah, there's no harm in losing to a guy like that. He put up a solid effort, and yeah, he shouldn't hang his head because Volkov's that guy. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the next one we have Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier. So the Reaper came back with a vengeance.
Before we say anything, I'd just like to say Dylan was right. I was wrong. Dylan, you're the GOAT. He wanted me to say this live on the podcast because he wasn't able to make it today. Dylan, you were right. I was wrong. The Reaper's your version of the GOAT, not mine, but he's your GOAT. Great job by the Reaper. And I'll let Asher continue to go through.
Yeah, so pretty much Jared Cannonier came in with the strategy of throwing like leg kicks to Robert's lead leg because, Robert Whittaker does move a lot. And this is what I was saying. I picked Whittaker to win as well because I thought that Whittaker was just slicker in the feet compared to Cannonier. Robert Whittaker's jab was just on point the whole night. He actually messed up Cannonier's eye. And one thing with, I don't know if the guy listens to our podcast too, but there's somebody in the comments on Instagram when I posted this saying, who do you think is going to win? Somebody said Whittaker, and he's going to land that darting right hand and then the head kick like he always does. And he did it like 4 or 5 times. Cannonier was able to block, I think, the first 3, and then the one in the third round zone that got through. Robert Whittaker is so slick at just throwing a right hand and then following up with the head kick where like you're blocking the hands, but then fighters aren't used to blocking twice on the same side, right? Where like you block the punch, then the kick on the same side. So that kick came and then Cannonier ducked.
No,
and then,
the funny thing with the Reaper is he throws a jab cross, then he throws the right high kick. You know what he does? He throws the jab to force you to lean one way. He throws the right hand to make you lean more towards the right side. Then he comes up top with the kick. So it's like a setup. He's like he doesn't want you. He's trying to miss on purpose, right? He's trying to get you to keep going. Like whoa, and then boom. Then now you've been kicked in the dome.
Yeah, but Cannonier is tough as nails. The guy hung in there. I thought he was about to get finished on the ground, but Robert Whittaker tried, and Cannonier got back up, and then he landed some good strikes on Whittaker too. And I was like, "Yo, Whittaker's about to get KO'd." So it was a crazy third round, and I just thought like maybe Cannonier was waiting a little too much in the feet because if you look at the strike differential between the two, it's 158 to 94. So I think he was a little too counter strike heavy in this fight. I'm sure if Cannonier,
he was more accurate with his strikes, but he didn't throw enough of them. If he had thrown a higher volume, he would have won. I think that if Cannonier had just thrown a higher volume in round 1, round 2, he would have won. But he should have, would have, could have.
it seemed like he had a good game plan, but like at the end of the day, like he just should have thrown more. He wasn't as active as Robert Whittaker, and solid win for Whittaker. It seems now that he's going to be facing Adesanya next. I don't really know who else they can give Adesanya other than Whittaker.
But I don't see how he beats Izzy.
Unless I think Darren Till and Jack Manson's a month or less than 2 months away. So unless Darren Till or Jack Manson has a crazy performance where they just like knock out one of each other.
No,
I can see them.
Robert deserves it. He lost it. He's fought twice. He's won twice. He was the champ. Champs won twice on the trot. You got to give it.
Plus, he defended his belt multiple times. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, there's no argument for anyone else other than Robert Whittaker. He deserves his kudos. I'd like to also shout out Enrique. I won Enrique some money, and Enrique asked me who to bet on. And for you guys that listen, I might want a fighter to win, but if I'm putting down money, I'm not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? My buddy asked me, who do you think is going to win the fights? I told him who's going to win, and he ended up winning some money. So shout out Berg. Another thing, the Killer Gorilla. Good game plan. Would like to have seen more volume, and he just needed to keep going to those leg kicks. Because what would happen is he'd throw one, wait 2 minutes, throw another one. If that's your game plan, I need it as heavy and as often as the prelim fight from, I think it was Wood and Kenny, the one fight of the night. You know what Wood did? He kept on kicking Kenny every minute. He'd kick him twice, every minute, 3 times, 4, 5, 6. He just kept on going. He's like, all right, cool. You're gonna keep headhunting. I'm just gonna keep murdering your leg. And I feel like Jared, yes, he would eat shots when he throw leg kicks, but he just needed to keep doing it because they were paying dividends. Robert's leg was getting chewed up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Robert was still moving well. Like, even though you could tell like his leg was kind of starting to bother him because like he was moving, but you could tell like he's not moving perfectly.
He's a little bit more ginger on that. Like when he's bouncing, like he's a little bit more ginger. But I think it's a perfect game plan. But you just need to keep going. Like if your game plan is leg kicks, I need at least 25 thrown in the first round. Second round, at least 30 thrown. You know what I'm saying? I need, if that's our way.
Whittaker was starting to check some of those leg kicks too. So you have to keep that in mind. You can't just be throwing your leg kick onto a knee and like, constantly. So
yeah, but that's when you throw inside. Yeah, but that's when you switch it to inside. You keep throwing it inside. Switch stances. Yeah, there's different ways to combat it. I know that Robert's gonna figure it out and say, then we're so focused on the leg, then you go up top. You know what I'm saying? So good game plan by the Killer Gorilla. Would have loved to see more volume thrown because what he did was working. You know what I'm saying? Reaper's jab was working. His leg kicks were working. Reaper stuck with the jab. Jared did not stick with the leg kicks, and that's what paid. That was the ultimate difference. It's a game of the razor thin margins because if the Reaper landed one heavy strike, Jared was wobbled. Jared landed one heavy strike, Reaper was wobbled. So like both of these guys could knock each other out. I think Robert deserves a title fight with Izzy. Do I think he can beat Izzy? He can beat Izzy. Is he going to beat Izzy? No, because Robert's not going to wrestle Izzy. And that's you know what I'm saying? In terms of striking, Izzy's the best we have in the UFC, in my opinion. In terms of just like pure stand-up striking in MMA, it's Izzy.
100%.
So, and if you want a point fight with Izzy, go ahead. But then you're going to fight him from the outside, or you're going to have to blitz him like you did the first time, then run the risk of getting KO'd. And this is the thing I always hone on with Dylan. It's what do you do differently? You lost the first time. Okay, if I was Jared, okay, maybe next time fight behind my jab or invest even more into the leg kicks. You can make those adjustments because like there's a path to success. With Robert, he's always been a stand-up guy. That's Izzy's bread and butter. Izzy's at 100 pro fights. 70-something of them in kickboxing. He's seen someone like Robert before. Robert's never solved the puzzle like Izzy. First time he did, he got knocked out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what does he do different? Maybe I can ask you the question. What does he do? How do you game plan for Izzy? You can't fight him from the outside. Look at Paulo Costa.
You start wrestling. Maybe you try and throw more leg kicks. Like he's obviously going to fight a totally different style than he did the first time. So it's not going to be darting in trying to headhunt Adesanya. So I don't know what the game plans are going to be for Robert in the rematch, but he has a chance. So I'm sure like he has a good team of coaches around him that are going to try and figure out a way to beat Izzy and see some of the successes that someone like Kevin Gastelum had when he fought Adesanya. So They'll figure something out, but I am picking Izzy to win the fight. I don't think he's going to be losing anytime soon. But shout out to Rob, and also shout out to the Lab Cook for giving us a follow on Instagram. I just saw that like earlier today, so thanks. So we're going to move on. So we're going to now talk about the main event of the evening: Khabib Nurmagomedov, the retired man, versus Justin Gaethje, the highlight versus the Eagle. So Khabib Nurmagomedov landed 26 strikes to Justin Gaethje's 29, and Khabib got 2 takedowns. Now, this fight was interesting for many, many reasons. Number one, Justin Gaethje was fighting extremely low. His stance was hunched over, ready to stop takedowns, right? So he had a much lower base than he usually does when he's fighting. He started off the fight kind of like the same way he started against Tony Ferguson, where he's throwing these looping punches and trying to take off Khabib's head with each punch. His coaches said the same things, like, yo, like, just relax, like, don't try and knock him out with every punch, just try to hit him, you know what I mean? So I didn't like that when I saw it from Gaethje. And like I said in the preview, I knew that Justin Gaethje is going to get taken down. That was for sure. Granted, it's going to happen. Now, I just thought that it was going to be a lot of damage he's going to take from ground and pound and not get submitted. Because how many times has Khabib submitted people recently? Not many, right? I know he submitted Michael Johnson, and I can't really think of Conor McGregor. Actually, sorry. Poirier and McGregor were all submissions. So I guess his last 3 have been submissions. So that's my bad. But regardless, I'm just used to Khabib doing a lot of ground and pound, right? Like, he ground and pounds his opponents a lot before the submission comes. The submission attempts came super fast. There was no ground and pound in this fight. That's why I got confused. There was no ground and pound in this fight. It was to the ground, then full mount immediately, almost armbar at the end of the first round. I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, it threw me off. I'm like, what? It's just happening so fast. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I know I've never seen Gaethje off of his back, but like, it was like butter. Like how Khabib was just like, you know what I mean? Like, I did not pick a submission because I just assumed that Gaethje would take a lot of punishment from ground and pound, but there was none. It was just Khabib slicing through him like butter. And in the first round, I literally thought it was going to be over. Makes it to the second round, and Gaethje's talking to his coaches saying, oh, by the way, like, he's just so fast and he's this and whatever. And like, he was, the way he was talking, he's kind of like in awe or like in shock of like how good Khabib was, And I'm like, yo, man, like, I'm not saying
I knew he lost. The moment you go on the stool and you suck the other fighter off, like, you're done. Like, you're already in awe. There's nothing you can do about it.
So when I heard that,
you've mentally given up.
I'm not liking Gaethje's chances so far, just the way he's talking. I'm not saying that, because Daniel Cormier has done that before, where he's gone back in the corner. He's like, coach, did I win that round? I'm not sure. Did I? You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to talk to his coaches so they can kind of help him out and stuff. So like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every fighter needs to go in this stool and be like, yeah, I'm gonna knock him out, blah blah blah. Like, every fighter is different, but. Second round starts, obviously more of the same. Gaethje did land a few leg kicks, which actually started to hurt Khabib. I noticed like he was not limping, but like his leg was a little bit damaged from those leg kicks. I don't think he landed like 6 or so, but that's all it takes.
And his foot was already broken.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then each takedown just like grabbed the leg and then he was down. And I was like, yo, Khabib's just butter with everything that he's doing. And then as soon as he got the takedown, full mount. I mean, Conor McGregor didn't get controlled this badly on the ground like Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, everyone roast Conor. I'm like, yo, Conor, at least he handled his own in the stand-up, and then he also had pretty decent takedown defense. I expected so much more from Justin. The way they were, he's All-American wrestler, Division 1, Division this. Yo, okay, cool. He's faced Division 1 wrestlers before. That narrative has now been flattened, man. Russian wrestling, Dagestani wrestling, those Dagestani handcuffs, baby. There's just no match. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can know jiu-jitsu. I didn't think Justin would get sliced through on the ground that easily. Now, is Khabib that good, or is Justin not as good as we thought?
No, it's just maybe Khabib just improved exponentially on the ground since his father passed. He's like, yo, you thought I was nice on the ground? Watch this, bro. Like, yo,
because I was like, okay, keep him in half guard. You had him in full. He had him in half. Then he had him in mount. Like,
he had him in like full mount. Then 5 seconds later, he's almost tapping. I'm like, yo, what's Khabib's mod? So By the way, shout out to Herzog for not seeing 10 taps, dog. I was like, yo, Herzog, dog. I was like, yo, you know, Herzog, you know, I love you, bro.
No. It was just the angle he was at. It was the angle.
Herzog, you know, I love you, dog, but like, I was like, yeah.
No. That one I'll give it to the ref because it was against the cage. The tap came cage side, and he was on the opposite side. But he also did notice. I think Khabib said something too, and the commentators were saying, "Oh, he's out." You know, because we could see the tap from the good camera angle that we had.
How many taps did Gaethje have?
5,
At
5 or 6.
Yeah. It was like 1, 2, 3. Then he did again 1, 2, 3, and then Khabib told like, "Yo, I think he's out." Like he's tapped multiple times. Then he checked his arm. Then he's like, "Oh, he's out." So
yeah. So kudos. At the end of the day, you know, we have a better angle than the ref cage side. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not an easy job. I'm not hating on Herzog. I love the guy, but it's just, you know, it was a late stoppage. It is what it is, right? So yeah. But
anyways,
Gaethje
guys, let us know what you think.
Gaethje woke up and gave his props to Khabib. Khabib's done. He says he's not fighting anymore, which is pretty sad, but I do think he's telling the truth. I think GSP may say like, "Oh no, let's do it one more time," but Khabib just seems to be a man of his word, and I don't think he's going to fight again. He doesn't want to do it anymore. So solid performance by Khabib. Conor McGregor also tweeted saying like, "Yeah, congratulations on your career." Like, so Conor McGregor is not going to force him to fight again. And, you know, I guess the next fight is going to be Poirier versus Conor for the belt, because it sounds like Khabib is relinquishing his belt, right? So yeah, let us know what you think, guys. It was a fun main event. The whole card was just almost full of finishes, which is kind of crazy. The Robert Whittaker fight was almost a finish too, but Cannonier hung in there. As per usual, we're going to be having another guest soon. It's going to be a strength and conditioning coach from England. And I hope you enjoyed our last episode with Gaethan Ellis, who was a nutritionist for Darren Till. So if you didn't listen to that episode, check it out. It was a lot of fun. We got to dive into diet, food prep, and weight cutting and all that stuff. And follow us on Instagram, MMA Brothers Pod, if you haven't done so. That's pretty much it from me, guys. I'm sure Daryl has the same things to say, so I'll just end it here. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give us a follow on our socials. You can check out a description of this episode for more, but don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at MMA Brothers Pod. We'll see you on the next episode.